Good morning, my lovelies. How are we? Good morning, good morning. Oh, we've got Roseanne this morning. Hi, haven't seen you in quite a wee while. How are you doing? And we've got Thea as well, who I have to say I'm quite surprised to see because I know Thea's not been feeling all that great. I'm kind of like rolling about here. I don't know what's going on with my chair. And we've got Terry. Yay! What time is it for you, Terry? Is it not still an obscene time of day for you? They're quite late at night? Anyway, I'm glad that you're here. I did have a bit of a moment where I thought, I was like, oh no, like it might be a case of like nobody turns up this morning because I was quite late getting things organised for this. 9 at night. Okay, well that's nice. Hi Katara, how are you? Yeah, so there wasn't much notice for this stream, but I've been kind of doing a lot of sort of messing about in the cave, and I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'm just gonna do it anyway. And I was like, if no one turns up, I'll just sit and art myself. It'll be fine. 11 at night for Katara. Oh, so not too, but it's late, but not too late. 2025 was not a great one. Well, it's funny you should say that. I don't know. I don't know whether you saw any of the last stream. I'll explain a wee bit more as we go. But there was a lot of people in the same position, and that is reflected in some of the artwork we're going to do today. So I'll show you that in a wee while, Roseanne. How could I not be here when I have my little black fur alarm clock? Thanks, Nido. I see that the light on the camera here can't decide what it's doing. It's let me just try and sort this out a little bit. I'm kind of flicking about. Right, let's try that for a second. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just going to take a wee minute to get my hand going. I've been up for a while, but I haven't really done anything. So I need to get this hand of mine moving before we do some arting. He woke me up early because he tried to walk over my easel with my colouring book. Oh no, that's not so good. So for our people that is morning time, so that's obviously Roseanne and Thea. I take it you guys have got coffee and or breakfast or something. I know Thea, you're an hour in front, so it's 8 a.m. for you. I was unceremoniously up at about 5:30. Mr. Jem is away shooting today. He could have gone last night. But he decided that he wanted to go this morning and just leave really early, so I just said, oh well, I'll just get up with you. But I mean, I'm normally up around then. I'm normally up between 5 and 6 anyway. But obviously with the darker mornings and the fact that I've been off for Christmas, I wasn't maybe quite so keen to get up this morning. But anyway, I've got up just the same. You have the Nido drop? Yeah, I do. And it's funny little container. I've got another one as well. I'm sure you've seen this one before. But just stretch over here. I've got the original cube as well. That was the one I had originally. But I find this one better for just like since I broke my thumb. But see, because it's so cold in here, it's absolutely rock hard. But that's good. It is very cold here today. We're kind of hovering about -3, but there is quite a high wind chill factor. It is very windy. So the cave's a wee bit chilly this morning, but we'll warm up soon enough. It'll be fine. Yeah, so Mr. Jem's away. He's away shooting, and he's away to where the old cave was, so that's much further north. And he wanted to leave really early just in case the weather's bad, because we've been forecast a lot of snow. We haven't seen any. He had tried to snow yesterday and then decided it was just a bad idea. But see, because it's been windy, I think it probably blew a lot of it past us rather than us getting it. So, but the wind is horrific. If we get a wind coming from the northeast, we are not protected at all, and that's coming straight from Norway and Sweden. And even yesterday, like, you went outside and it would slice you in half. It was horrible. So although, I mean, -3 is cold for us, it's not horrendously cold, but if you stick that wind on top of it, it's just nasty. I took Jock out with me yesterday morning just to take the dogs out for their usual WALK, and I had his little like thermal jacket thing on him, and even at that he was miserable, so it was a very quick, brisk scoot out yesterday morning, and then Mr. Jem took Pip out later for a longer WALK on her own. Roseanne got gifted a pile of colouring books for neurospicy beginners, and it's a resolution to get going with them. Well, come and stay here with us. We're going to do some colouring, not today, but yes, there's plenty of things to come. Yeah, that's what pushed Thea's temperatures to feels like -16. Yeah, oh, it's been horrible. I see we're so exposed because we're on the... if you look at the map of Scotland, the top half's like a Pac-Man, and we're on this bit here, so if the wind's coming from this direction, see, we've got absolute... And like, that's where I live, on that little bit that sticks out. And if we've just got no protection from the wind, it just comes straight in and smacks you in the face. Which is delightful. Love it, really. Right, okay, I feel like my hand's going. So a wee explanation of what I've got here. Let me just roll my sleeves up a wee bit. My elbow's been really sore as well yesterday and the day before. It's been clicking. It hasn't done that before, so slightly concerned about that. But I'll deal with that once we, get back into the swing of things next week and the world opens up again. I think most people are back to work on Monday, to be fair. So yeah, beverages of choice this morning. I have a cup of tea, obviously, but I also have some fresh mango and orange juice as well. Keep the vitamins coming in, you know. So if I just, if I pop you to here, I'll put my noggin in the corner for a wee while. This is the page in God Jul that we were working on, and this is our pussycat. I got him finished off, and you can see the shiny Julia K paints turned out beautifully there. So really happy with that. The red bow was an excellent suggestion. That was Martine that suggested that, and I'm really happy with that. So what we want to do with this is get this page finished off today. We're going to have to jump back and forth because we're using paint and things to dry, blah blah blah. So you can see here I've already gone round the outline of our cat, and it's just because it's really tedious and it's not really something you want to sit and do in a stream. I was going to use black paint, but I changed my mind and I thought, like, let's change it up a wee bit. Let's go for a dark blue. So what I'm using to finish off this background today is the Liquitex Soft Body Acrylic. I absolutely love this acrylic paint. I'm not a big user of acrylic paint, but I really like this stuff. Again, I think I got it in a subscription box originally. This is my second bottle of this. I used up the first one completely. So that's what we're going to use. If you add a little bit of water to it when it's wet, you do get a much paler colour. So we may have to build up a layer or two, so drying time. It does dry quickly being acrylic though, which is good. But I just thought that would be a nice change from the black, and I thought it would go better with the orange of our pussycat if we think about colour theory. So got that, and I'm just going to use this Artful. This is a size 11 flat brush. I've had this for quite a wee while as well, and we're just going to get this done around about here. Once that's dry, I'm going to put a layer of fixative on it, and then we're going to put some snowflakes and things around them and make them pretty. So that's the first project we've got today. The second thing that we've got, and this is what I was going to explain to you, Roseanne, is the cover page in the new sketchbook. So you can see my llama sticker. I'm pretty sure it was Daria that sent me this llama sticker, and I think it's one of my absolute favourites. So this is, it's not one of the Sea White sketchbooks. I decided against that because I've already got one of the watercolour journals on the go. So this is a Moleskine or Moleskine, depending on how you want to pronounce it, watercolour book. And it's slightly smaller than A5, it's like longer and skinnier. So I decided to go with this one, and the prep work and stuff that we did in the last stream for the cover page I have started here. So this now this is what I wanted to explain to Roseanne. After deciding that 2025 was terrible, we decided that the cover page was going to be 2025 on fire, and Mildred, our Christmas Moo, would be sitting looking on to say goodbye to a terrible year. The only reason I'm using this for a cover page is because we started this on the 1st of January. Now I had a boo-boo last night, and I've tried to cover it up. I knocked over my water pot and it splashed because I had the date down there. You can just see it no more. So I've tried to tidy it up. I might have to do a bit of a repair job on that, but I'm hoping by the time we put everything else in, it'll look okay. So this is Gouache, and you can see I've just done the background here. I've got Mildred as an outline, and I've turned her slightly. Instead of being face on, I've turned her slightly that way, and it's so we can maybe put some highlights on her, like the tip of her ears and her snoot and things, and just try and make it a bit more atmospheric, because obviously if this is on fire, then there's going to be a wee bit of a glow coming off her. So that's all gouache. So this is what we're going to be jumping between today. Thankfully gouache and acrylic are both quick drying, so we should be getting a bit of jiving done, and just see what we can get through in the next maybe hour or two. I was going to go till about 9 o'clock, you know, just the kind of normal stream time, but we'll see how we get on today. So that's what we're doing. Katara says, and why are they just called POG? Pineapple, orange and grapefruit, and guava. Yeah, that's it. Well, it's Tropicana here, and that's orange and mango. Hi, Purple. Yeah. Nice to see you. This is one of the reasons why I like to do streams at different times, because there's people that can't join on the Wednesdays. And much as a Wednesday suits me, it doesn't suit everyone else. So I'm really happy to have you. Terry says Pog is very popular here. Yeah, Terry is on Hawaii, so that explains things. The llama says, "Hey you." There's a TV advert here in the UK with a big dog in it, and the dog's kind of like talks to his owner in like a kind of gruff voice, and he says, "What doing?" And that's what I think. It's like, "What doing?" They're really good. Roseanne still has a sketchbook got from ages ago. A sign to start it? Absolutely. There you go. The sign has been given. Right, so let's get fired in here. I'm just going to get... I'm already organised. I put all my stuff out last night, so I'm actually more organised than I thought it would be. So I'm just going to squeeze this out. I don't know how much we're going to go through. There's not much left in that either. I'm going to have to get another one. I did find mixing it with a wee bit of water was more helpful just for brush strokes and smoothing it out. And you can see there I've feathered out as much as I can round the edge in places, and that's just to try and give us a bit of a smoother background. I don't want it baby smooth. You guys know I prefer texture. So I'm not bothered about having this, you know, like sheet glass smooth. If I wanted to do that, I would have done it in gouache. So just a damp brush, and I'm just going to load up this brush. And I'm going to start on this side. I think I'll start in at the gutter here. Oh, I've got a pippy here. Oh no. You can just get out. Get out. And we'll just get this going. As I say, I think I'm probably going to need two layers. I should really have a sheet of paper in behind this. Just grab a sheet out the printer. I couldn't stay in my pyjamas because it was too cold. I had to put some jogging bottoms on. Is it a wee bit nippy for that this morning? Well, my printer's having a little chat to itself now. As it does. Has anybody else's printer got a mind of its own? You can be sitting here minding your own business and it starts like chuntering away for no reason. I'm like, oh, hello. Get that down in the crease there. Oh, get myself pulled in a bit, that's better. I have to say, I mean, generally that printer's quite well behaved. Considering the amount of money I paid for it, I mean, I could have got a much more expensive printer for the same job. It's one of the Hewlett Packard photo printers. It's an HP Envy. And it's been fab. It's been really, really good. But as I say, it seems to have a wee mind of its own sometimes. Hi, Jan. Printers are evil. They can smell fear. Oh, here's Jock. Good morning. Are you alright? Jock's a wee bit confused this morning because we're in the cave at this time. You know, in this configuration, he's kind of like, what are we doing in here? Normally if I'm up at this time, I'm plodding about the house, you know, getting ready to start my day. Oh no! I just realised the autofocus, I've just put a brush mark over there and there's absolutely nothing I can do about that. I don't even think I want to try and remedy that. No, I'm just going to make that worse. I'm just going to have to leave that be. Right, I was going to put this on manual focus anyway. That's a shame. I'll not worry too much though. Hi, this boy. I see you. Oh, yes, I know. What's wrong? Yes, you're lovely. Why don't you go and find a spot to put yourself in this morning? Hmm? You're not a good boy. Oh. Jock, this isn't ideal when I've got paint. Oh no, he's away again. I might just take him out. Oh, hi, Pip. Hello. Do you want to come up and say hi? Hi. There we go. Yes, good. Very good. Dogs. Also discombobulated because obviously Mr. Jem has left the house. He got a very accusatory look from Pip when he left. As if to say, what do you think you're doing? Like, where are you going at this hour? And she knew he wasn't going into the yard because the truck was running outside, the old truck. Mr. Jem had obviously defrosted it. So everybody's just a bit discombobulated this morning, but it's fine. Right, I'll turn this round a wee bit now. Okay, wet paint, wet paint. The little whiny noises, oh, it's constant. Jock does it a lot more now. I'm sure I mentioned this in the last stream, but apparently it's like a doggy dementia thing, and Jock will cry for no reason. I mean, he's absolutely fine, but he just kind of like gets a little bit upset with himself. But I find the best thing to do when he's like that is just to give him a wee pet and, you know, chat to him for a wee second, and then he tends to kind of like settle down a wee bit. So, but that's him now. He's climbed into his little bed, so. He'll probably be fast asleep in 10 minutes anyway. Jan's just woken up. It's nice to see you this time, Jan. I didn't know whether you would be. I just always assume that you're busy. Like, you're a busy lady. I never expect to see you. The other thing about using acrylic paint like this is you have to kind of wait and see how it dries a lot of the time. It usually dries a bit lighter, but it depends on the brand, I find, as well, a lot of the time. Because I'm not using much water as well, though, so, you know, just enough to dampen my brush, I can comfortably go in with a second layer without it being too, you know, damaging to the paper, but also without it going too crispy and, you know, cracking if you were to bend the page. That's a consideration that we have to think about if we're going to use acrylic paint. But see, because this is soft bodied as well, it's pretty good actually. Let me try and just smooth out some of these. So you can see up here, this is starting to dry. This little bit in here, and it is a bit paler. It's not as obvious on the... That's almost dry already, good grief. It's not as obvious on the camera, it's a bit more obvious in real life. See, I can touch that up, that's fine. Okay. Right, that's a good start. Let me just turn that around. Ooh. So that's made our little pussycat pop out quite nicely. Quite happy with that. I say we'll leave that to dry for a wee bit, and we can come back to it in just a jiffy. Thea says, I'd like to have 1% of Jan's energy. Maybe add 1% of Jem's energy too, then I might not be tired for an hour of the day. I don't know, it depends with me though. My thing is that, see, when I'm tired, I just seem to keep going. It doesn't make any difference, because if I try and like I can't nap during the day really. I don't sleep well anyway. But even if I'm tired, I just seem to keep going, and I think that's just a farmer thing, honestly. Because usually if you're doing farming things and you're tired, you've got no choice, so you just keep going anyway. Unless I'm working or have a reason to get up, I'm usually asleep at this time. Interesting. I'll say I'm never asleep at this time, ever. It is a well-known fact, though, that I am, I've always been like this ever since I was a tiny baby, because my parents thought that I was sickly, you know, as a very small baby, because I kept, like, didn't matter what they did, I was awake at like 5 or 6. And it turns out it's just my body clock, it's just the person that I am, and there's nothing changing it, so, and I've been like that my whole life. But I used to hate it, especially as a teenager, because if you were at parties or whatever, you know, you'd been up drinking till like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I was still awake at that time, so obviously not in a fit state to be doing anything, but I was obviously as well the only person awake in a house full of drunk people for like 5 hours on my own, so I hated it as a teenager. But now I would say probably when I got into my mid-20s and I wasn't partying as much and stuff, I've come to really enjoy it, and I love getting up early, and that's the time that I go for a run as well, and it's like it's great. I'm like a dawn chaser when it comes to running. Love going out just as the sun's coming up. I've seen some amazing sunrises, especially having lived in rural areas. It's something that I very much appreciate and would never change. Right, let's head over into here for a wee minute. I'm going to get this clip. I stole this from Julia's studio when I was in Sweden last time. This is a great idea. See if you've got 2 pages to hold down. This is fab. So I'm just going to grab a couple of pages there. Oh, it just helps to yeah. Also, if you've got bigger sketchbooks as well, if you're working on a bigger format, really, really good for holding your pages down. So, but that's just helping me to keep flat. I've never used one of these Moleskine sketchbooks before. This is a watercolour one, so I'm quite curious to see how I get on with it. I think there's about 60 pages, like 60 sides in it. So it's one of those ones where I feel like I could use it quite quickly. But I do think after I've used this up, I'm going to switch to using the sea white ones permanently. That I'm already happy with a smaller format sketchbook, because weirdly, I'm not a person that goes places very often, but what I have found in the last year, when I have gone places, I've taken my sketchbook with me, and that great big yellow one, it takes up a lot of room. If you're just taking like an overnight bag, or even like I don't have a handbag, but like a satchel type thing, and if you're stuffing other stuff in, it does take up a lot of room. So I do think I'm going to stick with a smaller format. I just wish that the sea white watercolour journals, I wish they did the square format in a slightly bigger size, because the square ones are quite dinky. They're only like that big. If I could have one like halfway between my old yellow sketchbook and those little ones that they've got, I think that would probably be the sweet spot for me. But I think it's good to change up the format as well. So I'm quite happy to be using a landscape sketchbook for the foreseeable. Jan is not a morning person naturally. Years of working afternoons and evening shifts changed my body clock, and it's not going back. Purple says I want to colour in more this year. But this morning I'm going to start setting up my reading media games journal. I've joined a book club for the first time. That sounds so good. I have to say I'm not much of a fan of the digital stuff, but see, having used a digital planner last year on my iPad, I'm not going back now. And I downloaded one of these massive planner packs off a creator on Etsy last year, and I absolutely loved the format, so I've picked up her new one for this year, and it's got absolutely everything in it, and it's really, really helped me stay organised and keep my head in check, because I had mine, I was all over the place last year, and it really helped a lot, so I'm right into that. Right, so the gouaches that I've got here, I've just got a selection of greens. What I didn't get was a palette. I'm not that organised, see. I'm going to get... Oh. Feeling fancy this morning, I'm going to bring out 2 palettes. So I've got my handmade palette from Julia, which I'll put there, and I've also got this one just because it's got a bit more like mixing room in it. So I'll pop that there. I do have 2 sets of water as well, because I knew I was going between acrylic and gouache. So I've got my second lot here, and I'll just get some water. Some water. Oh. Get some of this poured in to clean my brush with, and then some fresh water for mixing. Job's a good one. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to think about this in layers. So I think the next thing I want to do is this lighter patch of grass here, which is why I've got my greens out, and then work on the wooden numbers. And then I can layer the flames up on top of that, and we'll leave Mildred in the fireworks until the end. And we're not going to get that far today, but that's okay. So the green that I used, now this is the thing, I can't remember what green I used. I think I ended up with a mixture when I was doing this the other day. I want to say that I used the Schminke fir green, and then I'd mixed a little bit of blue and black into it for this part here, and then Mildred's shadow. So you can see Mildred's shadow's not black either. So I'm wondering if maybe... Oh God, I'm throwing this is the problem early in the morning. My hand's really not that great. That's me. I've just lobbed the lid off the gouache already. Oh. Hi Black Rose, how are you? The world's different at night too. Yeah, I've got this thing, and I've talked about this before. When I used to go out to farms and take milk samples, I was quite often up in the middle of the night to travel to start, you know, a milking, which some people milk at 4 or 5 in the morning. And there's something very nice about being out and about when everything else is quiet. Like, I really like it. That's the one part of that job that I miss. And that's why I also love, see, during calving, I love going out and doing the night checks. Because we just have like one light on in the middle of the shed, so like there's pens either side, and then there's a feed passage in the middle, so we use that as a walkway. So we just have one light on in the very middle of that shed, and the pens are at the 4 corners, so it's like really subdued lighting, and most of the cows are sleeping and they're just all like breathing and everything's really chill, and I feel like I've got to like whisper to them when I go in. I love it. 0 days since Jem threw something by accident. It happened yesterday as well, so yeah, we're not doing too good. I understand why digital planning is useful, but for me paper journaling is a way to be... Yeah, no, I totally appreciate that, and obviously I've got lots of creative outlets, and I actually try and steer away from digital stuff as much as possible, but I've just, day to day, jumping between like my proper job and the cave and farm stuff and all the rest of it. It's really handy because I can just take my iPad with me. I appreciate it's not for everyone, and if people don't have time to sit down and do stuff like that, paper journaling, or because I used to bullet journal a lot as well before I started the cave, so it is a great way. You're absolutely right, and I absolutely go for it. Right, let's squeeze a wee bit of this out. I think that might be too light. I have to say, I'm not fussy. Well, I'm not that fussy when it comes to gouache. I'll pretty much use anything. The Arteza gouache is quite good actually. Like, I quite like it. But I usually jump between the Winsor & Newton designer gouache. I've got loads of these. And for white, I've really enjoyed using the Talons one. You can see I'm really well through that tube now. The Schminke designer's gouache, the tubes are bigger, it's expensive, but you can feel the difference. Like, you know, if you go with the mantra, you get what you pay for. That, I find that it doesn't apply to a lot of things these days, but you can feel the difference with this gouache. It's really, really high quality. And when I start to get through tubes of things, like I'm nearly out of black gouache as well, I'm going to get myself a couple of these because they are really good, and a little bit goes a really, really long way. Okay, so let me just stop talking and get down to business here. Now, the lovely thing with gouache is, if this is too light, it looks a bit cheery to me. I'm just going to pop that there so you can see it. It looks... I don't know whether to put some yellow in with it at this point and make it even lighter, bearing in mind there's going to be a bit of a glow from the fire. So I don't know whether to do that or not, but I've got some cadmium yellow here. Or maybe we should go more orangey, permanent yellow deep. That might be a better choice. Again, this is a wee Winsor & Newton number. There's something about putting fountain pen to paper. Well, see, that's like my worst nightmare, and I'm very jealous of all of you. Fountain pens and me, again, because I have twitches and pressure issues, it's just a terrible idea for me. Ink and I don't really get on very well, and I'm so glad that other people do. I have to tell you, watching a YouTube channel new to me on urban sketching, and she has a new fountain pen, a Peanuts one, and yes, I've one on the way. Peanuts as in the comic strip, or as in actual Peanuts? Don't enable me. Obviously, my first kind of penning of choice is purple. Oh, hey, that's a good point. I have purple. I'd love to send you some of these. I'm sure you've got tons of pens anyway. I have a massive box of these Bic purple ballpoints. I love the colour, and Mama Jem used to love these as well. She wrote everything in these purple pens. I would really like to send you one of these, or 3 of them, or 5 of them. So if you'd like them, please let me know, because I feel like that's a thing. They're good though. They're, with being Bic ones, they're quite reliable. Right, let's take a little bit of this. I just want to see what happens here if I... Where's my... Yeah, I feel like that's where I want to go with this. So I'll work around Mildred first. We'll just get a wee bit this down. I'll zoom in a wee bit, would that be better? About there. Thea, are you talking to me? Or are you talking to someone else in the chat? I'm really happy with my outline of Mildred as well. You can't really see her just now, but I've got her wee, like her wee tail in there as well. I'm just going to kind of blend that out a little bit. See, this is really just a base layer, so we don't have to be too careful, but... See, a tiny little bit of this Schminke paint goes for miles. I meant to say paintbrush wise, this is the Pro Art Prolon Series 60, number 6. This is one of my kind of favoured brushes for gouache. I like it because it's got quite a fat body on it, but it's got a really fine little tail at the very tip of it, so you can get like super fine lines if that's what you want. I'll sharpen up the edges of Mildred's shadow later on as well when I get to the sort of other layers. Yes, the purple Bic pens. I've had them for ages, Thea. I'll send you some. I'm happily send you some. I've got loads of them. I think I'm going to have to mix up a bit more of this. See, we can adjust this as we go along. I just really want a base to be working with. I feel like it would be lighter still, you know, close into that edge there, but we'll see. Start spreading that out a bit. Mildred's wee foot. I have to say the paper in this book's lovely. So far so good. I'll say it is watercolour paper. And I mean these are quite expensive, these sketchbooks. I was gifted this one, I didn't buy it myself. So I was really hoping that for the money, you know, because obviously I looked up to see how much they were. I was really hoping the paper would be half decent. I think I would have been bitterly disappointed if it wasn't. Again, I'm not too bothered here about accuracy. I'm going to put the little grassy bits in, but that's probably going to be mostly engulfed in flames, so we'll not worry too much about that. I'm also keeping this layer quite watery because we're going to be building up on top So a bit like you do with oil painting, fat over lean. Don't know how I'm going to fix my boo-boo in the corner, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Excellent. Happy with that. Diamond ink advent calendar. Well, that sounds fancy. Expensive? It's a Moleskine or Moleskine watercolor sketchbook, and it's slightly smaller than A5, and obviously it's landscape. I did mention it at the start. I've heard they're good, but supposedly they've changed something about the paper recently which makes them not as good as they were. Well, see, I've got no frame of reference. I've never used one before, so we'll see how it goes. A Roseanne short break for waffle making. Yes! Oh, even Black Roses had the very same one. Excellent. Well, see, I'm just going to see how I get on. Right, okay, so let's dump this off the side. So we're going to be doing a lot of switching about this morning. Keep me on my toes. I'll put my... I'm using Julia's wee Swedish tin cup here just to... This seems to be what I'm using to, you know, for current materials. Onto my juice now. Oh, it's so good. This way. I wasn't expecting to be this active this morning. Okay, yep, so you can see we're a wee bit patchy. We're not bad though. But just straight back. Straight back to the acrylic paint. Oh. And my dirty acrylic water. Moleskine is very variable in quality for the writing journal, so hopefully these are not the same. We'll see. Well, see, I'm not really, I don't really have any skin in the game. Because I've never had one before, and see, it's not a big jumbo sketchbook, so if I don't like it, I don't have to get another one, and I didn't pay for it, so. Right, I'm just going to... out a bit, there we go. I'm just going to stick another layer on here. Oh, Jock's starting to snore, there we go. It took a bit longer than expected, but... Bless him. And that's just going on beautifully now. See, because we've already got a layer of acrylic down which is soaked into the paper. Something quite satisfying about that. Don't want to get in too close and do the thing that I did last time. I might take a wee brush and touch up round the edges a bit. You see just round his ear there, you can see that it looks a lot lighter. Don't want to go in too close with this big brush. Oh, living dangerously. Just get another layer on that. Go for it. I love this acrylic paint, I really do. Preparations are underway for starting my acrylic painting for my kitchen. I've decided I'm going to set my easel up in the box room, which is the little bedroom through the wall, like that way. But right now all the Christmas decorations are lying on the floor through there, ready to get boxed up and put back up in the loft. So my plan is to do that a bit later on this morning. Get everything boxed up. The outside lights are still up. Mr. Jem's going to take them down on Sunday. but they fit in a box that's about that size, so that can be done later and I can just fling them up. I've also got a few Lego boxes that need to go up in the loft as well. I never told you all, I got some Lego for Christmas. Even though I don't have space for any more Lego, like to build stuff, I've actually got a backlog. But Mr. Jem bought me the Game Boy, and I built that last night, and it is fantastic. It is so accurate, and it's got a little set of interchangeable screens in it, so you can change the games, but they're like holographic, so they move when you it's so cool. But anyway, I cleared a wee space on my Lego shelf over there where the pencil light is, so there's a wee space there for it. But that was so much fun. So I didn't know if I would cope without having any Lego for Christmas, and I didn't have to worry about it because Mr. Jem just knew. Not too close on early morning, Jem hand. Yeah, I've already made a boo-boo. Can you see it there, Jan? My brush, I just like brushed over the top of these little fluffy bits, and there's nothing I can do about it, so I just have to live with that. I've done it there on his scarf as well, I've just realised. Good grief. Everly consummate professional. Thea's popped up the link for the merch. Guys, there's not very many sketchbooks left. The sketchbooks have gone really well. I should have been more optimistic about that and known that from the start, but there's not very many sketchbooks left. And I think with the tote bags, we're not quite down into single figures, but I don't think we're too far behind that. How dare you not tell us about Lego? Do you want me to show you it? Because it's just over there. I need to leave this to dry now anyway. I'm just going to scoop the rest of this acrylic paint back into the jar though first. I need to get myself a wee palette knife. Let me just do this first. Yes, show us. Thea likes her tote bag. I just thought, do you know, I went for those ones. Number one, they're 100% cotton. But also, I think they're a really good size. A lot of the tote bags that I see are gigantic. And I thought it would be nice to have something a little bit more compact. Because the thing is, having those tote bags, having a really big one's great, but they get really heavy. And sometimes you just don't need that in your life. So, yeah, I'm glad you like it, Thea. I liked it too. I did get a couple of samples from a couple of different companies, and some of them were they were cheaper to buy, but they were absolutely paper thin. So that was kind of like a compromise, the one that I got. There was one that was a lot more luxurious, like the fabric was almost like canvas, but they were very, very expensive. And just, you know, we had all the conversations about trying to balance the risk-reward situation financially. I think I made the best choice that I could, honestly. Right, so that's us done with the acrylic paint. So I'll just move this out. I'll go and get the Lego Game Boy. I think it's almost to scale as well. So you get a wee stand because you make the cartridges up. So there's Super Mario Land, and the one that's actually in the Game Boy is Zelda. So if I take that out, the Game Boy itself has a stand, so that obviously you can display it. But look, and when you move the the screen, obviously it moves, and these buttons are like buttons, like they're actually like buttons, and you've got the slot here to put the cartridge in, so you can pull this little part out and you can slide out the screen, and they've got in this little stand that you can hold the cartridge in. There's a bit at the back to store these. So there's the start up screen, and then there's a game like a game grab from Zelda that moves, and then obviously the Mario one as well. Like, how cool is that? So you can change them out, you know, and you just basically slot that in there and push the little bit forward, and then you've got what looks like a Game Boy. And it is, this is what I was saying to Mr. Jem last night, it's so close, like it's chunky like the original. I had the original Game Boy, and I also had a kind of slimmer one as well. But yeah, it's just fantastic. It wasn't a big build either. It was only about 500 pieces, so it only took me about an hour, I think. But I was doing that last night. I mean, we were kind of watching TV and stuff as well. So yeah, like I'm just in love with this. Like I really, really am. I'm in love with it. It combines two of my favourite things, obviously Lego and computer games. So I'm really happy about it. And you slot that in the way you would a cartridge. Like it's so cool. So cool. It made me feel really old though, because in the instruction manual, there's me throwing stuff away again. That's my good hand as well. In the instruction manual, they have a little bit about the history of the Game Boy and stuff, and it just made me feel so old because it came out in 1989, and I got the Game Boy when it came out, which is outrageous. I'm like, God, I'm so old. But yeah, that absolutely, like, that made my day when Mr. Jem said to me, he's like, that's going to be your favourite present, and I was unwrapping it. I was like, oh my God. Anywho, I'm going to put this back up on the shelf. There's a wee hole where the headphone jack is. That's the wee hole that sits in the holder, you know, to sit it up. Very, very clever. Very impressed. So there you go. Good, isn't it? Oh, a bit of a glitch there. Some of the botanical sets as well. Theo wants the Enterprise, I just don't have them. Yeah, like, huge. Mr. Jem really is a keeper, isn't he? When it comes to stuff like that, yeah. Just kind of like remind myself that, well, we've been together a long time now, but there's reasons for it. There is reasons. I don't know whether I want to, I kind of want to touch that bit up. Right, this is going to be a thing. Because that paint will have dried by now. I might just take it straight out the tube. Decisions this morning. I've now got acrylic paint on my finger. Let me see if I can grab a wee brush for acrylic. And I'll just go straight out the pot. This one, that'll do. I've got a Talons number 4. I think this is just one of the gold tipped brushes. So I just want to tidy up round this ear. What's this ear? And maybe a wee bit down the bottom round his tail as well, and then I think I will be satisfied. I don't want to dip too far in. Hello, paint. I don't know if I'm quite ready for such fine motor skills at this stage in the day. I suppose my hand's warmed up enough. Have to concentrate here, guys. Can't talk and do this at the same time. Good grief. Better. This paint dries so quickly. It's one of the things I don't like about acrylic paint. See, if I'm working on something big, I nearly always put fluid retarder in it because I hate being rushed. And it makes me panic. Like, I'm not an accomplished enough acrylic painter to work with it in its normal drying time. I'm like, no. I can take paint out the lid. You make space for the Enterprise. Well, I just like to have the variety. And the heavy body stuff, I mean, you can thin it down a bit. It's not great if you're, like, I find for landscapes, which is what I would tend to use it for if I'm working, you know, in a bigger format. It's not great because you end up with, like, really thick, stodgy layers. But the fluid retarder really helps. It's just the Winsor & Newton one that I use. Right, I'm a bit happier with that. As I say, I'm not looking for, like, mega smooth or anything because we're putting stuff on top of this. But that looks a bit tidier. So we'll go with that. Where's my... Oh my God, there's too much going on here. Right, put that out of the way. There we go. Right, come on, Jane. Space is an issue for me too. Now planning on giving some of my old sets to local charity. Oh, I don't think I could. I don't think I could part with any of my Lego sets. Honestly, I do have an entire room that I can use. So I'm not out of space yet, but we've got decorating and stuff to do, so I need to do that first. before I can put shelves up to put my Lego on. But what I do is there's some sets that I've had that have been up and built. See the modular buildings that I've got? So they're like the really big sets up the top there. I mean, they take up a lot of space. And what I've started to do is dismantle some, but they just go back in the box and it goes in the loft in like a sealed, like a big plastic tub with a lid on. I don't think I could ever part with any of my Lego, honestly. One day maybe, and if something drastic happened and I was destitute, I know I could sell, especially some of the older retired modular buildings. I mean, some of them go for like £500-600 now. Oh no, I'm stuck to the paper. So if I was in a pinch, oh my goodness, you know, there would be a financial aspect to that might save me, but I wouldn't do that unless I absolutely had to. Right, there we go. So we'll let wee Pussycat dry off a bit more now. Put this away. And again, we'll come back to him in just a wee minute. Be right back. Kitty needs breakfast real quick. Breakfast, it's that time. God, it's 10 to 8 already, my word. Not a jot of sunlight at all here. By the time we finish up around 9, it should be light by then, but it depends what kind of day it is. If it's overcast, it probably won't be that light. We're just at that time of year. Right, okay, so this is dried a lot lighter on this side, so maybe there's going to be more flames on this side and less flames here. Maybe I can, you know, use that to my advantage. And I need to do more with Mildred's shadow, but see, I just want to get colour down first. So we're going to think about browns now. So I've got my ridiculous basket of gouache. It is completely out of hand. Straight away though, this latte brown, it's been kind of like winking at me for a wee while. Not specifically for this, but just generally, because it's sitting right on the top of the basket. And I don't actually think I've used much of this. I think I've maybe used it to like touch up some tree trunks and stuff, but that might just be a good starting colour actually. It's like almost like a beigey brown. Because again, this is going to be mostly lit up. I've splattered things, good grief. You know, because it's going to be on fire, I'm thinking, well, that might actually be a better base colour to start with. Yeah, I'm going to need a teeny tiny brush for this. I've got my gouache brushes. Someone asked me about organising my brushes not that long ago, and I keep all my brushes separately. So you've seen the llama mug that I keep my watercolour brushes in. When I'm painting in gouache, I like a stiffer brush. A lot of people will use watercolour brushes. I don't like that. I like to lean ironically a bit more towards acrylic, even though I'm not that great with acrylic. So I have a whole pot of separate brushes just for gouache, and they're that sweet spot in the middle. I tend to work in gouache in small format as well, so they tend to be smaller brushes. Like that's the biggest one I've got. And that's what brush is that? That's a King Art Gold. That's a 3/4 inch wash brush. And then I've got a separate pot again for acrylic brushes, and then obviously a separate one for oils, which I don't use that often. But I'm very specific about that. Some people are quite happy to mix and match. I am not. I am not that person. I need structure. So speaking of structure, I'm going to take this wee Pro Art Polar. This is a white, well, it was white nylon brush. It's a size 4. Because I want to try and make sure I get these jagged edges in on these, because this is supposed to be like scrap wood, you know. I'm definitely going to need more paint than that though. And as I mentioned earlier, like I find this Arteza gouache quite agreeable. I didn't think I would. I think it's very good quality for the money. You know, it's not like mega massive fancy artist grade, but it's not difficult to work with. And what I find with gouache is if it's not good to work with, there's like a frustration with it, and it's usually to do with being able to get the consistency, because you do mix it with either a teeny bit of water or maybe a lot of water. And the Arteza ones, especially across all the colours, because that can vary as well, even within a range. You know, quite often some are not the same consistency as others. But I find that the Arteza stuff's pretty good, honestly. So I think this is a good place to start. So again, I'm just looking for a base layer here. I'm trying to keep this as neat as possible because I kind of want to give it a little bit of texture. Move that over a wee bit. I feel as if this is starting to get some atmosphere in it already, and we're not even finished putting the base layers down. So this is where having an unsteady hand is actually to my advantage, because it's going to give that nice sort of scrap wood feel. What's the word I'm looking for? Not inconsistent, that's not the right word. Yeah, I don't know what the story is with Arteza. I mean, you can, their website's still there, is still very much there, but a lot of products that they used to have just don't exist anymore, which I find quite interesting. But the same can be said with a lot of companies, actually. You look at Artful. Artful's more or less disappeared, like, completely. Used to get round Mildred's wee horn there. Or wonky horn. Well, I mean, both her horns are wonky, but you know what I mean. I think this was a good colour choice to start with. And then round her wee snoot there. See, it's kind of, her nose is kind of foreshortened because I've turned her at that sort of angle. You don't see that much of her face, but I just thought it would look better. And see, it means I can put like a wee highlight on her face and work the light source, you know. Although this is a very confusing light source. But I will always risk it for a biscuit when it comes to light sources. I've got, you know, well, I don't know why I'm telling you that. You guys know that. I'm obsessed with light and that kind of thing. I wanted to get a replacement set of the coloured pencils for years now. They never go back in stock. Yeah. They had a huge set of gouache, never returned into stock either. I think you can still get gouache, but I don't think they do like the big sets anymore. I'm not sure. I haven't looked recently. I mean, it must have been like early last year, the last time I looked at something like that. But it's a shame because some of their stuff was really good. Not their watercolour sketchbooks. That is an experience I never wish to repeat. Their watercolour paper was horrific. And I don't often say things like that extreme. I usually try and find the good in most art supplies, but their watercolour paper was just awful. But their gouache is great, and I love their coloured pencils as well. Their coloured pencils were so good. Hi Snoo! Good to see you pop in there. Just discussing the merits and the... I've got a wonky bristle. Can you guys see that? Ew. What's wrong with you? Get back in there. I don't have to be that careful on the bottom here again. Fire, you know. It's just habit though. The watercolour sketchbooks were disgusting. They were absolutely awful. I have never, apart from the Derwent pastel pencils, now you all know how I feel about that, I have never been more abhorred by an art supply than I have about the Arteza watercolour sketchbooks. They're absolutely awful. They really are. Has anybody else got a supply like that they just absolutely can't stand? I would love to hear that. But those are definitely my top two. Derwent pastel pencils. The thing with the pastel pencils is it just annoys me because as a company their stuff's fantastic and they're so good at making pencils, and I'm like, how are these still like popular? I absolutely detest them. They're horrible. They're awful. Like, nope. You couldn't sharpen one if your life depended on it. Like, see if you had to save your own life by sharpening a Derwent pastel pencil. Your odds aren't good. North Yorkshire. North Yorkshire dawn report, sky clearish with a bit of cloud and gentle gold as the sun rises. That sounds so pretty. Thank you, Jan. Yeah, no, we're miles away from that. There isn't even a hint of daylight. How much further south are you from me, Jan? I know you said a couple of 100 miles. It is a couple of 100 miles though, isn't it? It's amazing the difference it makes. Do you know what else is amazing as well? I was talking to Papa Jem about this. See the difference from the east coast to the west coast. Papa Jem stays on the west coast, and although he's further south, when you look at the map, he's not that much further south. But when he was here, he was checking his security cameras back at his house on the west coast, and it was pitch black here, and the sun was just starting to set because obviously east to west. I find that quite interesting as well. The difference was major. You know, it wasn't like, oh, you know, there was a bit of sunlight on the west. It was daylight, like, and here there was nothing. We were in pitch black. Always fascinates me. It was lovely to see you, Roseanne. Thank you for coming, and I hope that we do see you again soon and you get some arting done this year. Thanks for popping in. Terry had Arteza watercolour pencils that weren't great. They went to the charity shop. I don't think I ever tried the watercolour pencils. Again, it's not a supply that I use. I'm actually going to... That's something I do need to do. I need to find a home for my Albrecht Dürer watercolour pencils. I've got the full set and I don't use them. I just don't use watercolour pencils. But I want them to go to someone that would use them. They deserve a good home because they're nice pencils. I think in the last 5 years I've maybe used them once. So that's a supply that just really needs a new home. But I'm not just going to stick them in the stash to go to any Tom, Dick or Harry. I'm a bit precious about that for some reason. So if anybody knows of anyone that does use watercolour pencils and is looking for a really good set that's... well, I mean, some of the pencils are used, but they're not like down to stumps or anything. Send them my way because I would really like them to go to a good home. I really would. Obviously, I expect payment for them though. I'm not giving them away. They were very expensive, but I hate having supplies that don't get used. And it's not that I hate them as pencils. They're very nice pencils. I don't use watercolour pencils ever. That's very apparent now. I think after like... Well, that'll be nearly 9 years of arting this year. I've barely used them in all that time, just as a supply, so I would rather they went to someone that does actually use them. And not being fussy down here, because we're going to be engulfed in flames. Flames. A wee bit there. Ooh. I'm really happy with my colour choice here. Thea doesn't... Oh, hi April, how are you? 176 miles to drive to a town near you. There we go. So 176 miles of difference in distance, huge difference in light. Yes, hi April, how are you doing? A few years ago, Inktober did a collab with Viva. Oh yeah, they did a sketchbook. She hated that one. Erasing made the paper shiny and unusable. Oh, yeah, and the Viva watercolours are nice as well. And that just goes to show you that just because one thing is nice doesn't mean anything else is going to be nice. Again, that's why I was very careful with my merch. Like, if I was going to do limited edition sketchbooks, it was only ever going to be the ones that I sell and that sell very well, and people like them and I use them myself. I'm quite staunch on things like that. I don't want to peddle things that I wouldn't use myself unless it's a supply that I've tried that it's just not for me. Like I would never sell Arteza watercolour sketchbooks in the stash shop. Everyone was so happy with the damn sketchbooks. Disgusting. Snoo got mad when they wanted better acrylic paint and got Liquitex and it wasn't much better than the really cheap paint. Oh, that's really funny, Snoo, because I was just using the Liquitex soft body paint and I absolutely love it. That's really funny. Haven't tried their regular, well, I probably have tried their regular paint actually, but I really like the soft body one. Oh, Katara's tried the Arteza watercolour pencils as well. Question about that, why were they terrible? Brush is too wet here. I'm sure there are people who love the Derwent pastel pencil. I'm sure there is. I am definitely not one of them. I hate them with the fire of 1,000 suns. They're just so dry and chalky, and they're an absolute nightmare to sharpen. And there's nothing, I don't like, do you know the other thing I don't like about them as well? And this is completely irrational. I hate the core to barrel thickness ratio. Like, I don't know, it just feels wrong. I don't like it. Like, I don't like it. I just don't like anything about them. They're so dry. And I know, like, pastel pencils are supposed to be dry, but see, even, remember I did the video on all the different pastel pencils? I would have taken any of the other pastel pencils over the Derwent ones. Like, 1,000,000 times over. That is a really wonky bit of wood. I think I'm going to have to possibly doctor that, but that's a bit too bendy for my liking. I think I want to bring that all the way down there. Yeah, better. See? Gouache is very forgiving. Hi Michelle, how are you? Nice to see you. Colour, right, so Katara's back to talking about the Arteza watercolour pencils. I've been waiting for someone to say something. Colour payoff was awful, never dissolved completely, chalky and hard to use. I would say that's grounds for a crappy watercolour pencil. I'm just guessing that Derwent will not be asking you to be a pastel pencil ambassador anytime soon. Definitely not. Definitely not. That's not happening. No, I'm very taken with the Caran d'Ache ones. They're pastel pens. I mean, they're extortionate. They're so expensive, but they're lovely. But the other brands that I tried as well, see was it the Stabilo Carbothello? They're really good pencils as well. And I'm actually thinking about it quite a lot. The commission that I've got coming up, I think I might be using a bit of pastel pencil for it. I have started building up a wee collection of the Caran d'Ache ones, and I've just bought like the earth tone pencils because obviously those are the ones that I would use. So I'm actually, like, my head's kind of like geared toward pastel pencils just now. I would probably use them in conjunction with coloured pencils. I haven't decided quite what I'm doing yet because I don't know what the client wants yet. But I think that might be on the cards, so we'll see. They were not opaque like I thought they would be. When I got the golden mixing set, they acted like I thought. Well, that's fair. Terry's saying that the pencils wouldn't dissolve either, gave it a very streaky look. Well, does that not kind of defeat the purpose of watercolour pencils? Is it just me? Interesting. Righty McCoho. And see, now that this is starting to come to life a wee bit, I'm not as upset about my boo-boo in the corner here, and I feel like we can fix that. I'm really happy with this so far. Like, it's such a random thing to have as a cover page in a sketchbook, but I think it just embodies like everything perfectly. It's in gouache, which obviously I love and haven't done enough of in 2025. The fact that it's just been a terrible year, but the fact that we've also got Mildred as well, like, all of this just makes me really happy. This paper is taking this gouache like a boss. Like, there's absolutely no problems, and I'm actually quite excited to use this sketchbook. The paper is quite textured. I really like using graphite on cold press watercolour paper. Not really rough paper, but you know, something that's knobbly wobbly. So I'm really looking forward to this because the paper in my last sketchbook in comparison was very smooth. I would say it was closer to marker paper than watercolour paper. Like if you were on the scale, it was definitely down the marker paper end. So like that, this is just making me really happy this morning, guys. It's great. It's really, really good. Right, I'm going to take a wee break here. It's 8:10 here now. I can hear Pip like padding about, but this is normally the time she goes out for a poop. So I'm going to go see if she wants to do that. When I come back, I'm going to switch back to our pussycat in God Jul, and we'll do a wee bit more in that. But see, we're just going to continue to jump back and forth. But we'll maybe go for another hour, I think, and just see how far we can get. So yeah, it's time for you to have your conversations about what you're eating. I imagine there'll be a bit more breakfast and lunch talk this time because it's morning. But have a wee chat amongst yourselves, and I will be back in due course. Hello, lovely to come back and see Pete in the stream. Hey Jay, MJ Pete, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Yep, I just had to let Miss Pippi out to do her business. We normally take a wee break halfway through, so we're just past the halfway point. Lovely that you've been able to join us. It's nice to see you. Right, okay, so we're doing a bit of jumping and jiving about here. The next step for this page, for our little pussycat, which throwing you a wee curveball here. I have some fixative. This is a workable fixative. If you're outside of Europe, the Krylon brand is very popular. It's very good as well. We're going to be needing this in just a minute because I have brought out my pan pastels. Bet you weren't expecting that. So I've got, again, I've just got a basket of chaos here, and I want to find the white and maybe like a pale blue colour, and I want to put some little circles in just with a cotton bud, or what do you guys call it, a Q-tip. These are all stacked. They were in a sensible order at one point. That I think that's long out the window, so you have to bear with me a wee minute just till I find the right stack. I did have a ultramarine blue tint. That might be a good one. Just start unscrewing everything. Yeah, there's like a pale blue one that it looks kind of purple in the camera. It's blue. We'll maybe have that one. I do have white somewhere. I think I'm barking up the wrong stack here though. Oh, these are all greens. Oh my. Greens, greys. Oh, there's white. That was a stroke of luck. I've got two white pastel pans. Yeah, titanium white, that one. The other one broke into a million pieces, and Papa Jem like patted it all down for me, like squished it all back together, which was really cool. Anywho's, getting sidetracked. I'll just stack all these back up. Would you like to see some of the pretty colours just while we're here? Lots of my noggin's in the way for that one. I'm going to have greens and stuff. Again, pan pastel, something I really enjoy using, something I maybe don't use quite as often as I could. But yeah, good fun, really expensive though. Really, really expensive. But you buy a pan pastel, it'll last you most of your life, I think. Unless you're like a fanatical pan pastel user. So again, it's a bit like the Schminke Gouache. It's one of those things, once you buy it, you know, you're pretty much set. Someone was talking about polychromos. I know that Thea was talking about her polychromos, but someone else was talking about them. It might have been Cal, saying that you know, she's had her set for so many years and she's only ever replaced one pencil. I'm the same. I think I've replaced, and it's mostly greens for me, unsurprisingly. I think I've only replaced like maybe 4 or 5, which is interesting. Right, okay, so what we want to do here is some nice soft circles. So I'm going to start off with the blue. And I'm just going to have a little, that looks really purple, that's so weird. It's obviously because we've got kind of yellowish lighting. And I just want to make some like little soft circles here and there. I don't know how well that's going to show up as blue. It might look a wee bit softer next to the white. They tell you not to blow off stuff like this because it puts all the dust up into the air. I think if you're using a lot of it, I would agree with that, but for the purposes of what we are doing, I don't think we need to worry too much. Just using Pussycat as my anchor point. I'm pressing quite hard because it's going on to acrylic. Obviously that's quite a sort of shiny, non-porous surface now, so we do want to press it down, but it's the fixative that's going to hold that in place. So try and do like a wee half moon behind him here. I don't want to overdo it because we're going to put some snowflakes on top. So I'm going to jump to my white now. Again, same thing, just a wee dip in and a wee squidge squidge, tap off some excess. Yeah, there's not much of a difference between the colours. I could probably have just gone with the white and it would have been fine. But that's okay. So there is a tiny little bit of light outside. It's quite overcast. But we're starting to get a little bit of light now, and I can hear some little birdies coming to the feeder now. So that's when you know the sun is on its way up. Let me double that one up just for funsies. Maybe another one in at the gutter there. I forgot all about the stream and went to shut the computer down, and here's Jem. Yay! Any image on the first page of a sketch because I went, yeah, well, we're working towards it, Pete. We're getting there. We are getting there. Slowly but surely. I feel like we're missing something here. A big one in there. Okay, right, I'm quite happy with that. As I say, we're actually going to draw some snowflakes on here, so I don't want to go ham with that, but I just want to give it a little bit of dimension. So that is literally the pan pastels work done. Now, the thing with this is I'm going to have to spray this with fixative, especially if we're going to go back to it before the end of the stream. The fixative is very, very, very strong, and you need to do it in a well ventilated area. So I am going to take this outside right now and spray it, and I'm going to leave the book sitting at the door with the door open away from my dogs. So I will literally be two shakes. Just give me a wee second. Right, there we go. So I've left that next door with the window open just to dry. Move all my pan pastels back out the way. God, I feel like this is a really busy stream just because we're jumping about so much, but we want to get stuff done. So I can move my pastel bits and bobs out the way now. Okay, so we're going back to our sketchbook page. Here we are. And everything's obviously nice and dry. So what I want to do next is go back to my wooden numbers here and just add a little bit of detail. It's easier to put the detail in first and then the flames over the top. Again, just thinking in layers. So we'll do that first. So I had kind of eyeballed a brown rather than mixing with what I've got. I do have Van Dyke brown here in the designer's gouache. That's a pretty good colour. Hi Pip. Pip's starting to wake up now. I think that might be quite dark though. Burnt sienna might be a bit red. Let's just have a wee squish out and see what that looks like. Again, that's the Winsor & Newton one as well. I do have quite a lot of this. Oh no, I think that might be what I'm after. Just a wee tiny blob. That's all we need. Again, I'm going to stick with this Pro Art brush now that I've sorted out my wayward bristle. I don't know what the deal was with that. So let's just see if we can get this mixed, get some consistency sorted out here. I would be really interested to know from MJ. The conversation that we were having just before you came in was about a truly terrible art supply that you've had, and I was saying that there's very few art supplies that I've truly hated. My picks were the Derwent pastel pencils because I just don't like them. But also the Arteza watercolour sketchbooks. MJ is very experienced in particularly painting. So MJ, my question to you is there one supply that you've had that's just absolutely terrible that you would never use again and would not recommend to people? I would love to hear it. Because we do try and talk about the positive aspects of most supplies here in the cave. And I very rarely will say something's absolutely atrocious. So I would love to hear your take on that. Right, okay, so I think I want to create, oh that's a lot of paint, my goodness. I think I want to kind of create an edge here, like maybe a wee bit of a 3D effect. Again, I don't want this to be particularly clean because these are supposed to be like really scrappy bits of wood. So let's keep it scrappy. Or scrappy-ish. Black Rose, I think I need to get myself a cup of coffee. Absolutely. Maybe we'll see a wee bit in at the ends there as well. That's going to be engulfed in flames as well, but never mind. Jock's having a big sigh to himself again. Oh. Life is so terrible being a geriatric dog. Hello, the arty poet. Morning, Jem. It's been ages since I've made a stream. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too. How are you? We've had quite a few people popping in today that I've not seen for a while. I mean, I appreciate that most of my streams have been Wednesdays this year. But it's really nice to see some of you. And I said it before, but this is why, I mean, I'm up early anyway. And it's nice to see the faces that we don't necessarily see you on a regular basis, so welcome. I'm really happy you're just sitting doing my thing. I'll maybe take that in a bit. Maybe there's like a little crack there or something. Yeah. I don't know, can you hear the birds there, no? kind of rattling about. This white bit here, this is Mildred's ear. It's not part of the 5. Just the shape of it, it does look like belongs in the number, but that's not the case. Right, I think I'm going to use this Van Dyke brown. Maybe start creating a little bit of a wood grain effect. Oh, there's a wee cheap. That's us. We're starting to lighten up a good bit now. I should think so at 8:30 in the morning. Actually looks like a little bit of daylight. Such a novel thing at this time of year. No coffee for Black Rose yet. Have to wait for the coffee maker. Oh, coffee maker. I absolutely hate the smell of coffee. I'm just not a coffee drinker at all. I'm really not. I'll just stick with my mango and orange. Back for some more tea, which will be my 3rd cup of the day. I usually stop about 3 though, and weirdly, unless I'm streaming, I tend not to drink tea in the afternoons. Again, it's just a habit that I have, but also because it's got caffeine in it. They do say to you that if you have trouble sleeping, which I do, to cut your caffeine off at like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So I'm quite conscious of that. I tend, unless it's really cold though, I tend not to want to drink tea late in the afternoon. Say that the streams are the exception. That's just a little ritual that I've got now. Yeah, you can hear the birds. Oh, that's funny. Cheep, cheep. Right, I'm going to turn this slightly because I find it easier. I don't know if anyone else, when they're painting, I find it easier to go up and down than across the way. I don't know whether that's just me or... do you know what? I'm going to change paintbrushes as well. I want a teeny tiny brush for this. I mean, that's a pretty small brush to be fair, but we can go smaller. I think a rigger brush might be just a bit overkill for the size of space that we're working in. Let me see what I've got here. I've got a little liner brush. Yeah, let's use this. So this is the King Art size 2 liner brush. What I find using a liner brush is your gouache has to be quite fluid. If you've got a thicker consistency, the lines just don't sweep the same. So again, I don't know if my hand's steady enough for this, but we'll see. I feel like that's really dark up there. I'm going to pull some of those lines out now though. Add a little bit more water. That's better, that's much thinner. I might have to redo that top section there, but that's okay. That's what I was saying about consistency. Again, one of the reasons I love gouache, it's very forgiving in that sense. Big knot in there, look. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think just while I'm here, that's dry. Everything's drying really quickly. I'm just going to take this latte colour and go back over that because that's far too thick. It looks really clumsy. I don't like that. See, one of the many reasons why I love gouache. Especially, see, because I've got quite an unsteady hand, it allows me to correct things without ruining a picture. This down the bottom, I knocked over my water. That was just an accident. I wasn't actually painting when that happened. You know, you just kind of live with stuff like that. But gouache is great for this, and I don't think this is going to be a major problem now. I think it's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to ruin the entire piece, which I'm really enjoying so far. Like, I'm having such a good time with this right now. That little high-pitched tweet that you can hear, that is the little blue tits, and there's a pair of chaffinches that come. I just call them Mr. and Mrs. Chaffinch. Not very original, I know, but they seem to they seem to get on okay with the blue tits. They seem to be quite harmonious, and they're able to share the feeder because there's two separate sections in it, and there's a perch that runs all the way across. So they can, you know, one can be in one side and one can be in the other, and it's okay. But if the great tits come along, they're much bigger. The chaffinches don't like that, and they will protect the blue tits from the great tits, which I find quite interesting. And that this is just like a year or so of having them at the window all the time. You know, you start to notice all these little behaviours and things. It's quite interesting. But that little tweet, that's the little blue tits. And then you've got the coal tits, which are smaller again. So they've got the same markings as the blue tits, but they're just grey and black rather than having any blue or yellow in them. And they're tiny. They're like the smallest birds. They're extremely brave, and I would imagine they would have to be because of the size of them. But they're so quick. Like, they fly in, grab a peanut and leg it, you know, in like a split second. So, and I think that's obviously a survival skill. They're in and out before anybody can challenge them. They're fascinating to watch. They really are. And then you've got the hilarity of the house sparrows that I like to think of as like the hooligans of the garden bird world. They come in groups and they squabble the entire time. They are so noisy. And I'm like, are you actually eating, or are you just like, you know, shouting at each other? Really, really funny. Jan can drink coffee late at night and be fine. Parents and I always had a cup of coffee just before bed, so I'm just immune. Well, I mean, I don't know if it actually affects me in any way, Jan, because I quite often drink tea and it makes me sleepy. But it's just one of those things. It's something that's easy to eliminate in terms of like trying to better your sleep health. But I say generally, I don't really get the notion to drink tea in the afternoons anyway. So you know, it's not really a thing. But yeah, it's just one of those things where when you don't sleep well, just try and make things as easy as you can for yourself. So I still haven't I was talking to my brother about this not that long ago. I still haven't had a decent sleep since Mum passed away. I think I've had 2 nights where I've slept right through without waking up during the night, and that's since last May. So yeah, anything I can do to help my sleeping patterns, I'm gonna do it. But now I'm hoping as well, this is one of the reasons that I'm desperate to get back running, because I tend to find that when I have consistency in my running schedule that I naturally sleep better, but it takes about 6 weeks to kick in. So I'm very much locked into you know, get back running. So I'm 3 runs a week this week and next week, and then I'm up to 4 runs a week, which I think is going to be as much as I can squeeze in, honestly. Ready for my race in March, but that I'm hoping that should help my sleeping as well, she says. We'll see. It's not going to do any harm, I can tell you that for free. Yeah, the wood's going quite well, isn't it? Little birds are so fun to watch hop around and argue with each other. My balcony turns into a birdhouse 3 times a day at the moment with all the tiny birds coming to eat. Yeah, that's one thing. The birds are starving just now. The I've got 2 cage feeders that hang from the tree, and it's so that the big birds can't get in. So there's like an outer cage, and then there's the actual feeder cage that's like a column in the middle. And the other day when I went out to fill up the fat balls, there was no fewer than 20 blue tits all hanging about. And they went straight back in. Like, they're not frightened of me now. They won't come down and like sit anywhere near me when I'm changing it, but they sit in like the higher branches of the cherry tree, and then they just like swoop back down. But yeah, we're going through a lot of fat balls and stuff just now because obviously there's very little for them to eat. Everything's rock hard. So I'm quite happy to feed them. I've just realised I've done that line the wrong way. The line's going across the way there. That's okay, we'll make it work, it'll be fine. I'm not too bothered about this bottom section again because there's going to be flames there, but we're here anyway, so. Pete says the canvas boards that were made from masonite, horrible, curved so badly, even painting on the back did not help. The new boards are made from foam core and plastic, much better. Okay, that's interesting. I've also avoided the apple barrel acrylic fluid paints, thin and watery, so useless. Never buy those again either. I have to ask, is Apple Barrel not, is it like a budget brand? I know it's an American brand. I'm pretty sure it's like one of the cheaper brands. Would I be right? I don't know a lot about that, to be honest. I'm sure, I've definitely heard of Apple Barrel though. Something new, yeah, that's what I thought, Thea. Do we even get them here in Europe? I think Chloe Rose uses Apple Barrel paints from Euro sometimes. Yeah, that if it's cheap, that would make sense because obviously you're using a lot of paint. I don't know. I think as well though, a lot of it for me it's very rarely down to price, but I do find it's a very individual thing, and there's just some things you can work with and some things you can't. I say the Derwent pastel pencils are a perfect example. Like, loads of people love them, and I'm just like, no, they just don't work well for me at all. I would rather not, thank you very much. Just not that into it. Okay, I'm just going to go back to my 5 over here. It's looking a little bit muddy, but it's not too bad. I could go in with another layer of latte, but not that precious about it. It'll look fine when we're finished. That's better. We'll try and go over some of the areas that I'd already put those darker marks in. There we go. Okay, I am quite happy with that. Looking good. Just let the pastel pencils go on. I keep going on about them. Yeah, just no. Nope. Black Rose, apparently I can't crochet and watch the stream. Oh, okay. Okay, Tara says yes, Apple Barrel is a cheap American brand and are terrible. Okay, so we've got a consensus there. I like that. I like that a lot. Right, okay. So I think I'm going to call it quits on this for today. And we brought things on beautifully. I'll probably carry on a wee bit with this tomorrow myself. When I've finished this page, I will post it on Instagram, etc. But I'm going to have to leave that there for today. So again, I'll just pop this to the side, let it dry. Oh, we've got daylight now. How exciting. I just want to go and get our colouring page and at least finish that off here in the stream. So I'll just nip next door and go and get that, and we can get some snowflakes in. There we go. We are almost full daylight now. We're not quite there, but we're nearly there. Okay, so because I've put the workable fixative on this, you can see I can touch the areas where we've put the pastel down and it's not doing anything. It's locked in there. It's not going anywhere. And we've got a bit of a shine. Part of that is the fixative, part of that is the acrylic paint underneath. Again, for a colouring page, that's fine, that's what we want. What's that clip, Jem? I find it hard to keep a sketch with. Yes, I stole it from Julia when I was over the last time in Sweden. She had about 4 or 5 and then I was like, oh, I'm having one of them. Got away with it as well. Right, okay. Right, now when it comes to actual snowflakes, it's entirely down to preference what you would want to use to actually put your snowflakes in. Just give me a wee second. I had a link saved with some patterns. There, it's there, just for reference. Yeah, it's up to you what you want to use. I personally like to use a Posca pen because it gives me a bit of consistency, especially with a wobbly hand. Other things that you can use include, but not limited to, gouache with a very fine brush. Gel pens is another one. Also, if you want a bit of a softer look, a white pastel pencil is a really good option. With that though, you would have to spray your page again, obviously, to fix it to the paper. Most of the plaid or plaid branded paints like Apple Barrel just do not last. They're so thin they're not worth the time it takes to paint with them. Yes, better spending a wee bit more money. When I use a Posca pen, I do find that I have to double up. See, when you've got a dark background like this, it shouldn't happen so much because we've sprayed it with fixative, but even if there's a wee bit of transparency, then the dark colour shows through, so sometimes you have to go back over them. You've got to wait until they are completely dry before you do that. Right, so let's put some snowflakes in. I'll start with a simpler design. I can't say that I'm particularly well versed in. This is really runny. Wow, I thought I'd given that a really good shake there. Apparently not. Just make little snowflake shapes anyway. Yeah, everything's bleeding together. That's weird. Can't say that I've normally got this problem. I have to do these further apart. That is that's kind of all slid into each other. I need to shake my pen a bit more, I think. Good morning from Texas, KVG, welcome. MJ says, I will say I like my Carbothello pastel pencils. Yeah. I would advise not opening that tin, that's just my personal opinion. Got to walk the dog. It is late 30 here, chilly and wet too. Well, thanks for popping in, MJ. It's lovely to see you because I know you always try to get to a stream and it doesn't always work. So I'm glad you were able to pop in for a wee bit today. It was really, really nice to see you. Yeah, that didn't go so well, that one. Right, let's try again. I seem to have a very free-flowing Posca pen. I don't know what's going on with this. I've never had these issues with this. These things are sent to try us. Because like, I was wanting to do like a really feathery little one, but it seems like my pen's just, it's got a wee mind of its own today. That's okay though. Right, let's get some little dots into, like I'm barely touching the paper with that, and it's like, whoa, here, have some paint. Right, let's try another one down here. It's just really eager to like sploosh all this out. Oh, that was brave. Like, hold my breath while I do it. Sharpie paint markers are awesome if you can find them. Ooh, interesting. I have not come across those. A bigger one in there. Take advantage. Right, let's see if I can... Yeah, okay. Ooh. This is worse than working with the gouache. Again, it's really important, like at this point, it's probably quite good that this has happened. I think it's really important not to get hung up on your backgrounds, because that's what it is. It's a background. If it's not perfect, don't worry about it. Because if everyone's concentrating on your backgrounds, then it means you've done something wrong in here. I'm just going to turn this around so I don't dip my hand in those ones. Right, okay. I'm really disappointed in that. The thing is, Posca pens are usually so consistent as well. Like, as long as you've shaken them properly. I'm quite annoyed about that. Put one at the top of the page here. Anywho. Because I was gonna... I've got like a favourite shape that I do, but I don't think I'm going to be able to manage it. Yeah, I can't even do an open circle without it being really blobby. I'm gonna try though. We're just here for funsies. Trying my best not to ruin it. There we go. Okay, so I managed one actual snowflake. Good, Jem, well done. Clap, clap. Just add in a few more dots here and there. Make it look like it's just starting to snow. Right, I'll attempt one last one down here, I think. See, there's lots of designs that I've seen that have got like really nice kind of feathered edges. I think sticking with the dots is the way forward though. Let me try another one like I did over there. Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. I will concede. Right, there we go. I think we're going to call it done at that. Yeah! That looks pretty festive, doesn't it? Apart from a wonky one. I might try and fix that. I don't know with what or how, but I might just make it a big... Yeah, let's do something with this. I'm not satisfied. I know I'm not really bothered about things like this, but that one's kind of bothering me. Let's see if I can... Just make it a very multifaceted snowflake. She says hopefully. Or maybe it's a star, I don't know. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll go with that. Right. Anywho's. Yeah, it spits out more paint. Yeah, it just seems to be just really excited this morning. Ah, jeez, that's funny. Anyway, well, oh, I'm really glad that we've got this finished. This has been a really nice festive page to do. I've really enjoyed it. I'm also very glad that I decided on blue rather than black. Again, on the camera, you can't really see it, but if I compare it to... I've got another page that I did a black background on. Was that last Christmas? It must have been. Till I find it. I just don't want to smudge these snowflakes. But if I flip really quickly from there, you can see that matte black finish there with the blue. You can see that this is blue, and I just think it goes a lot better with the cat and his little gingerness. He's turned out really well, and he's got his shiny little bells and all the rest of it. It's super cute. I was going to put a wee highlight on these bells. Again, I think I'm kind of living dangerously here, but just a little... Yeah, okay, I don't think you can see that, but Just nice way to finish the page off. Really happy with it. And that was Papa Jem's choice. He actually picked the page for us. Someone suggested calling him Donut. I think Donut's appropriate. We'll go with Donut, that's fine. Right, okay guys, so very productive early bird stream. Again, this is why I like to get up early, because I find that I get a lot of things done. And I think we can safely say, especially since we've been jumping about a lot, I've achieved quite a lot this morning between my colouring page, which is now nice and finished, and cracking on with this cover page inside my newest sketchbook. I'm really looking forward to working on this a bit more. As I say, do that over the next couple of days, I think. So I've only got today and tomorrow. I'm back to working my proper job on Monday, so things are very much returning to normal as of Monday for me. I've had 3 weeks off and it's gone by in a flash. I've been pretty busy, but I'm so glad I've managed to get some arting in as well, and obviously we've had a couple of streams as well. So if any of you have looked on the posts page on the YouTube channel, you'll see that I've posted the schedule for the live streams for January. There is only a couple, and the reason that there's only a couple is we're going back to normal videos. Woo! The first video I'm hoping to have out by the next weekend. So I'm hoping by the Friday night, it might be Saturday, but we're going to be slotting in videos in between our live streams. You know, a bit more like we used to, a bit more like normal. I know last year was just, was not normal at all in any way, shape or form. So we've got that to look forward to, and I'm going to try and go for a mix of painting, drawing and colouring. So you will have that to look forward to. And that is all. If you haven't grabbed your cave merch yet, Thea, if you could pop the link up again to the stash shop. We do have a little range of goodies. So we've got pencils, the It's a Pencil. We've got the Sea White watercolour sketchbooks that have got the cave pencil embossed onto them, and we've also got lovely cotton tote bags that have got the I am not a painter sticker on it, which is the paintbrush forest and then the hashtag underneath. So if any of you would like to grab some of that, they are limited edition. Once they're gone, they're gone. There's very few sketchbooks left already, and the tote bags there's still a couple there, but they're not going to hang about for long, I don't think. So if you want to check that out, Thea has put the link in the chat there for you. Streams are also in Discord under events. Thank you, Thea. Again, if anybody's a Discord user and wants to join the Cave Discord, please let us know and we will invite you there. So I just want to thank you guys for joining me this morning. As I say, I did say at the start, I didn't think there would be very many people here this morning because we were quite late organising this and with it being the time of day. But you've all turned up, which has been great. And I've had a really good time. So I will bid you adieu. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. It's Saturday, isn't it? Yes. And I'll see you back in the cave next week with a video. Have a great day, everyone. Can we have some pink udder hands, please, just because we're all here in the morning? You're very welcome, Thea. Yes, it's been good chat this morning, hasn't it? Woo, pink udder hands. I can put some pink udder hands in too. Go and enjoy your coffee and whatever it is you're doing. Yay, great guys. All right, we'll see you soon. Take it easy, everyone.